my heart like bullets, and the syllables constricted my lungs as I grew face to face with my monster, spitzoid melanoma, a rare form of skin cancer found primarily in adolescents. Even as I sat beside my mom, I felt abandoned, bare, and exposed. The following months were a blur of car rides, sitting in waiting rooms filled with balding scalps, and lying on crinkly white paper in blue and white striped gowns. "This could be fatal," were the first words out of my doctor's mouth. But the pathology report indicated the cancer might have spread. In my nightmares, cancer was the darkest black, but my reality, gray uncertainty, was far worse. I carried my fear and constant fear of dropping it, a burden onto others, but I had no escape route, so what was I to do? I maintained as much normalcy as possible. I went to school, club meetings, SATs and ACT prep, taking the SATs and ACTs, field hockey, and dance practice. Inevitably, a period of time came when my life came to a complete halt. It was a Tuesday, November 27th, that I climbed from my gurney to the operating room table and counted down from 10 with an oxygen mask over my mouth. The bright lights pointed at me faded until I woke up in the recovery unit. During my recovery, taking a lap around the first floor of my house became a large feat. The melanoma was removed from my inner right calf and posed a large hinder on my ability to walk. I was gradually able to walk 3 times around the house and later up the stairs to shower. A few weeks after my surgery, my mom sprinted up the stairs to tell me the cancer didn't spread. Although I felt and still feel extremely grateful after hearing the good news, the fear of recurrence floods my thoughts. My stomach churns and my sleeping becomes sporadic each time the date of my biannual checkup approaches. With previous scares of recurrence, I fear that one day the cancer will return and I won't be able to fight. My fear comes in waves. Most times they feed into the ocean, others crashing to shore. I wondered when the fear would rest, but I can say now, 3.5 years after my diagnosis, they crash, but they crashed less frequently. I made the largest decision of my life at 16 years old. The decision to perform a sentinel lymph node biopsy, the removal of one lymph node during surgery to see if the cancer had spread, which has given me lymphedema, a chronic and painful swelling throughout my entire right leg that has no cure. Lymphedema requires me to wear an attention-seeking compression sleeve on my right leg every day, a daily reminder of my health journey. Sometimes the pain and comfort distracts me during class and frustrates me when my right leg can't keep up with my left walking around campus or exercising. At the time of my diagnosis, I rejected all of my emotions and alienated myself from my friends and family to reduce my burden upon others. But by doing so, I avoided the most essential part of being human, experiencing the raw feelings that burn at our core and drive our interactions with others. Although I am still coming to terms with my health journey, the communities I have made and created at Boston College have been life-giving. Even though I did not know how to conceptualize it at the time, actively seeking and accepting grace has been a driving force of my life thus far. My heart is heavy and restless after visiting Chiapas, Mexico on my Arupe immersion this January. I struggled and still struggle with the indiscriminate nature of suffering. However, the grace and mercy with which the people I encountered reconcile suffering inspired me. I believe that suffering is suffering, and there is a beauty in sharing this. While sitting on the concrete porch with my host family, one son, recently deported from Florida, remarked, "It needs to start with a conversation, a raw conversation, one in which we allow ourselves to feel vulnerable so that we can see beyond our vastly different realities and recognize our common dignity. Allowing ourselves to cry, as my host sister Yenny did when she recounted to me the stories of her husband's migration to the United States, brings us into a deeper union. I am learning not to be afraid anymore, to reach out for Yenny's hand as I did that first night. Existence itself is so fragile, as I have learned at a relatively young age. So I hope to keep questioning, to feel unsettled rather than complacent so that my existence is authentic and intentional. I hope to rise from the crashing waves, abandoning my fear to live in the light of our coexistence.